everyone. Long time no see. It's I don't know about you, but it's been a lot past couple, at least 2 weeks. September and October are always challenging within the university world. Probably on your end as a student as well. But I'm happy to be here and finally checking in on all of you. So, what do we have coming up? We have our collection management project, part 1, is due October 16th, which is rapidly approaching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email. Since it's split up into 3 parts, I can understand why it might be overwhelming. It would be overwhelming to me, but I'm happy to discuss if you need more than an email, if you need like a Zoom call or something like that, we can make that happen. But yeah, please let me know if anything concerns you, or you're confused, or you just want to say hi. That's fine too. So this week we're talking about collection assessment, which to me is a little more interesting than, I don't know, acquisitions. There's been some dry reading, and I'm gonna make a note of this to go back and look at some of the readings, one or two of the readings that I didn't think were particularly not helpful, but I could find something better that you all would enjoy reading more, especially acquisitions and selection, because those are really fun areas. So, and for week 5, your prompt was about, just based on the research that you've been doing about, or based on the readings that you've been doing about acquisitions, to find some interesting articles, blog posts, videos, etc. to share in the discussion board. And I'm getting to those today. So yes, I've still a week behind. I've went through last week's discussions and had some highlights for those. I also wanted to mention that there's an article I'm going to share with you all within this announcement. It's called Not Censorship, but Selection by Lester Azim. I'm probably mispronouncing that name, but I'm from the South, so we pronounce a lot of things differently. And a colleague shared this on actually Blue Sky. I don't know if anybody's on Blue Sky. It's like the reimagination of Twitter. But she shared this and said it would be really good for students, particularly, not just because you all are in a collection management and development course, but also because just what's going on right now with censorship, book banning, all the things that you see in the news. So it's a good read. It came out in 1953, which is, it's always kind of interesting to read these I guess historical commentary about library and information science, but it is really pertinent to what's going on today. The only thing what stuck out at me, I don't know why this, well, I know why this stuck out at me or to me, was that he kept referring to the librarian as he. So use whatever pronoun you like, he, she, they, whatever. It just, I don't know, it kept bothering me. And I know it's 1953, so that's, but yeah, he, a lot of he librarianness. But it's a good article. It makes some reinforces some of the topics we've been discussing and some of the stuff that's been coming up in the discussion board posts, which is really interesting to me. I read it yesterday and thought I should share. So that is not required reading. Just read if you would like, if you're curious. Let's see. This week in our discussion, let's see. I don't know why it says it's a group discussion. That is part of my mistake. Just ignore it. I'm not sure why it said it's a group discussion. I forgot to edit that. That is my mistake. But we have 2 prompts. So the importance of assessing a collection, choosing one assessment method mentioned in the textbook, and how it is applicable for your library of interest, and the pros and cons of that method. And oh yeah, this mentions a lecture that I decided to change. Instead of doing lectures, I did interviews with practicing librarians and library workers because I thought that was more interesting than a traditional lecture for me. But yeah, please, just sorry for the confusion. If you're confused at all, let me know again if something like this comes up and it's just like, what's going on here? But this one is talking about Code for LibJournal and an editorial that discusses the need for more library user data collection methods and analysis, because consequently, library user data tends to be very broad and generic. And that does, there's a lot of questions there for patron privacy. Obviously, I have some of my own personal thoughts about that I will share when I go through your discussion boards. So, also, what else is going on? I'm in my office at SOAS, so you do not get to see my cat. She is asleep. I'm imagining, because it's kind of dreary day here. I really do appreciate all your great discussion board conversations. I know asynchronous courses can be, I don't know if isolating is the correct term, but I still want you to feel like you are students in a class, which you are. So the discussion board gives us some chance to talk about things. And I always learn something from you all's posts, because many of you are still currently in the field, whereas I am not. I have been in the library field in a number of years, so I am just learning from you all. Let's see. I'm saying let's see a lot. I swear I have a little list of things I need to go talk about with this, but I always go off topic. Yeah, and there's also some additional research on diversity audits, which are new-ish. Honestly, they're kind of newish to me. That I don't remember learning about them when I was in library school, but that was a decent amount of time ago. So it's really curious for me to read more about them, particularly thinking about public libraries and young adult collections, because that was my area. But I hope that you learned something about the diversity audits and what that really means. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, some screenshots from week 4 discussion. Geez. Okay, so let's go back to week 4. The selection process. So actually that article I mentioned really relates to all of this. Interesting. So I'm going to shout out Margaret Dabb. I thought this post your post was interesting, was because I'm fascinated by what librarians, who has the purchasing power in different libraries, because I focused, when I was public librarian, mostly on young adult collection. So currently ordering for TV shows and Spanish language materials is very interesting. And yeah, in a small library, you generally don't have a large budget, so you really have to find that balance. And diversity is, of course, very important right now. It's, even though it seems to be under attack. And you use the hold reports. That's a good idea. The last library I worked with, we did not we paid attention, but I don't think we really used them for ordering for our location. Like if this particular book keeps coming up and up, I don't think we actually took note of things, which is probably something we should have done. It sounds like a wonderful idea. And Jesse Newman, hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, discussed about Kirkus reviews and book lists. Yes, those are kind of there's kind of flagship, like very traditional resource for reviews for materials, especially for like children and, mostly for children, library books, or books for purchase for libraries. They are good starting points. Honestly, I'm trying to remember what we did use we got a book list, but we also used stuff like, some of you mentioned some really interesting ways to find out what your community is interested in, but partially because this is my library was located in Southwest Georgia, in a very rural, small town. We always looked at, I don't know if you're familiar with the magazine Southern Living. It exists. It also has book recommendations. So I remember our director would usually pick up books off of some of those, books that were in like Oprah's magazine, a couple other like general popular magazines. But yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. I would, for teen books, I would tend to find stuff through YALSA's book lists, or a lot of stuff would come up through that. I'm not sure if it's engaged as it used to be, because that was quite a while ago, but it was very helpful. And Bookrite is excellent. I use that just personally to find books, and they're doing a lot of great work on book banning right now as well. Epic is a great one. Yeah, I think there's so many websites to do these best books for teens, or best books for, like, if it's the 10 books for those for coming out. Yesterday was coming out day. So yeah, there's a wide range of stuff you can actually use. I think in one of the posts that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, they talk about social media, which is huge right now. Book Talk. You'll hear from a teen librarian in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in a couple next week or the week after, about how she uses stuff like Book Talk and Instagram to get book ideas, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously social media has its downfalls, but it does have some perks, and it can be helpful. So thank you, Jesse. Let's see. Yeah, you talked about the advantage of librarians making the selection decisions, because they are full-time professionals with connections with vendors, and ideally with some sort of training, or as much training as you can get in a library program. A lot of training is going to become on the job. It's just the way the game is played. That sounds awful. The way things are, and it makes a lot of sense. And also the advantages of patrons in selection materials, because they are direct users, and they will lead to increase in circulation. And it's good to get a feel for, we talk about community so much in libraries, especially when we're talking about collection development and management, and also in the other course I'm teaching this semester, Foundations of LIS, community is huge. You really want to appeal to your community, just do that survey, just an analysis of your community on the regular. Thank you. One more. Frankie. Okay, you're talking about the traditional library selection aids. Definitely, yeah, not the only thing that libraries use, because there's so many other things. Publisher announcements, book fairs, bookstores, in-house statistics, Amazon, Goodreads. Yeah, Goodreads is pretty huge. Library thing is big. What other places? I know there's more. I tend to go to, I tend to go to like independent bookstores and see what's trending there and what's happening there. Most librarians have too many responsibilities and need to streamline work, yes, and will likely use the same source for acquisitions each time. One interesting way to combat this is through patron-driven acquisition. I think the only patron-driven acquisitions are awesome. I think it really should be a part of libraries, particularly public and school libraries. I just wish that libraries, maybe I'm just blind to the libraries that I use the most frequently. I wish they did a better job of promoting or advertising how you can, as a patron, can request a book or a DVD or an ebook, an audio book or something like. Sometimes it's a little hard unless you're like a hardcore library user. You don't know you can do that. I'm not sure if the general public does not know a lot about libraries, which, for a number of reasons. Partially libraries don't have a marketing problem, and they have for some time, but partially just because they just don't come into the library enough. But thank you, Frankie. Okay, I'm back. Well, I didn't go away, but I lowered myself so I wouldn't be staring at myself while I'm talking to you all. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention. Yeah, just honestly keep up the excellent work with the discussion boards. Keep up. If you have any questions, not just about assignments, the course, if you have questions about the university, like UWM itself, SOAS, just general questions. Like I know your advisors can definitely help you, but I can definitely answer some questions if you are confused or anxious or just don't know where to go to, because it does get rather confusing, and you have a lot on your plate as grad students. I understand that very much. So thankfully I've been able to take a rest and calm down from all my public speaking. I did give a keynote where I talked about empathy and compassion within LIS, which is my research area. I do quite a bit of work about talking about mental health, mental illness, burnout, just trying to look at some of the ways in which we can better serve our librarians and library workers in their workplace. A lot of the focus in the research is on providing for patrons, which is very important, but I think we need to take care of ourselves, because there's a lot, especially right now with the way things are, there's so much that can be pretty traumatizing, actually, with bombings and people trying to get librarians fired. It's awful. Anyway, thank you for your patience with this video. I appreciate it. And again, I wanted to highlight, because I've gotten emails from some of you and some in my other course, but if you look at the syllabus, which hopefully you read, but was a student too, and I the policies, man, always got me. But I do have my own, not school, not university, my own mental health and wellness policy. So if you are finding yourself struggling with depression, anxiety, some emergency happens in your family, something emergency happens to you, or like case in point, I'm very open about mental health, but I have ADHD, and there, if you haven't not noticed, there is an ongoing shortage of ADHD medication, and it's not just in the United States; it's also in the UK, and I'm wondering if there's other countries are involved as well. There's a lot of reasons why there's shortages. It's very frustrating. So, and if people with ADHD cannot access their medication, that causes a lot of problem when they're trying to do their work. So if you don't have to go in that amount of detail, I just am an oversharer. So, but if something comes up in your life, please let me know as soon as you can, or whenever you're most comfortable. I know if it's an emergency, you don't have to like email me right then and there, because there are more important things than an assignment or a course. But I just wanted to let you know that I am here for you, and I understand the stresses of being a grad student, because I was one for a very long time. So please let me know if you need any help, or if you need a little boost. Yeah, I'll try to think of something fun for us to do, like share pictures of our pets or what we're reading or something, just something that's not a graded assignment or a graded discussion. So I wonder how long I've been chatting. 22 minutes, not bad. Okay, I'll take it. And my shirt says support your local library. And I am in a library, information school. So just can't escape libraries in this world. Okay, once again, sorry for my awkwardness, and I call it weirdness, uniqueness in the way I share videos, but I'm getting better on it. But thank you for listening. If you watched this whole video, good for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day, week, weekend. Happy almost Friday the 13th in October, one of my favorite days, and my mom's birthday. So very excited. Talk to you all soon. Bye.